Goals help us to achieve the bigger picture. They help us to achieve or maintain balance. They help us to stay focused. They can help us to be happier, more successful, or give us bigger fulfillment. We hear about goals all the time, but how often do we have a vision or set a goal in just one particular area of our lives instead of looking at our lives from a holistic perspective? This is exactly where I come in. I want to inspire and motivate you. I want to create the time for you to really think of your life in a holistic way and set your goals from there. I will share with you tools, tips, exercises, and more to help you on your journey to living a purposeful and fulfilled life. Hi, my name is Louise. I'm a leading mindset coach. I've had the opportunity to scale and lead customer support and success teams all over across the globe. I've been fortunate to have lived in some of the most vibrant cities in this world, and I'm blessed with two wild-spirited soils. Through my work, I bring an unparalleled level of discipline, grit, and focus. So if you're ready, let's get started. Today, I would like to talk about values. When I mention the word values, probably most of you don't really know what your values are. We often don't understand what our values, what's so important about knowing our values. And so instead, if we don't know our own values, we focus on the values that society or our culture or maybe the media sets for us instead. Doing this discovery process though, and obviously I've been there myself, it's challenging. It's sometimes very challenging to identify your personal core values. But I'll take you through a small exercise today so you can start to write down your own values and become aware of your own values. What it will do is it will help you in your decision making, and it will help you make decisions from a place of ease and power. So what are values really? Values is something that you stand for, something that's really important for you, and that ultimately will set your priorities. So it's something that we stand for, and ultimately it will guide our behavior as well. So to give you a small example, when I was going through the discovery process of understanding what my values are, I remember as a child, I was probably 9 to 10 years old, I had this big idea or this big vision to adopt a seal. I found an organization that was located in the Netherlands, and I wanted to adopt a seal. So the organization adopts seals that are weakened or sick, and they obviously treat them, make sure they get back to full health, 100% healthy before they release them back into the sea. So obviously for me to adopt a seal, I had to raise a lot of money. My parents thought I was, going a little bit crazy, and probably often I was thinking it myself as well. But I persevered. I did a lot of campaigns. I did the usual waffle baking or pancake making, and sold enough and raised enough money for me to go to the organization and adopt a seal. And what I've learned from that, it's really three main things and three main values that since I've done the discovery for myself, the personal discovery that I want to maintain in every decision that I make in my life. So the three values for me that came from it, first of all, it's power. And it's the power, the strength to face the fears and do it anyway, the strength to and the power to believe in yourself that you can do it, and to persevere within anything that you set your mind to. So the second is passion. So I really want to be doing things that are aligned with my passions. I love animals. I have a deep connection to animals, and I love contributing to their welfare. And then it's purpose. So passion, purpose, it lies very closely together. But really, is this something that's in my purpose? And yes, I want to, within my life, I want to help others. and that also includes animals. So there you go, just one simple example where I've drawn 3 very critical personal values that I maintain throughout my life. Obviously, values can change. It's very good to reassess your values every 3 to 6 months to make sure that they're still in alignment and they still ring true to you. So without further ado, take out your notebook, or maybe you have a note-taking app, or maybe you want to write it down in your journal. And I want you to think about one of these moments, these experiences in your life that were amazing. So I call it a peak experience. So a really meaningful moment. Just like when I was able to adopt a seal and then set it free in the wild nature again. What is that peak experience for you? And write down what was happening for you at that moment. What was going on? And what were the values that you were honoring at this time? Good. So if you have that, now we're going to go in the opposite direction. And we're going to go to a time where you got angry or you got frustrated or upset. So this happened also a couple of years back in a role that I was in, where, I was feeling very unfulfilled. And what came out of it for me, when I was doing this discovery session, just as you're doing right now. So what was happening to me is that I was feeling unfulfilled. And why? Is because I was not learning anything new. And that made me feel angry and frustrated. So if I now switch that script, what would I want it to be feeling instead? Is I wanted to feel like I was learning, that I was growing, both personally and also on a professional level. So over to you. What is that moment, that experience for you? That experience where you got angry, frustrated, upset? And what was going on? What were you feeling? And if you list those feelings and then look at what you wanted to be feeling instead, what are those feelings? Good. And now a last exercise or question is please ask yourself, what is most important in your life? What is most important in your life for you? Beyond basic human needs, what must you have in your life to experience fulfillment? So for me, what I must have is there must be a sense of adventure. I love adventure. I love taking the wild path sometimes. So adventure is very important for me. So what is it for you? Is it creative self-expression? Is it a strong level of health and vitality? Is it a sense of excitement? Do you want to be surrounded by beauty? Or is it always learning? What are some of those personal values that you must honor or a part of you withers? So now that you have a beautiful list of values that you've written down, try to reread them. See, are there any 2 values that are very strongly together, or actually mean the same thing, or might be very similar in meaning? For example, power and strength. So I chose to go for the word power, but power and strength lies very closely together. So what are those for you? So can you reduce the list a little bit, seeing those very similar words? You can circle them around or put them in line next to each other. So now that you have that list, I want you to take a look and prioritize these values. What is your number 1 value? What's really critical for you? If you can make a list from 1 to 10, what's the number 1 and what's your 10? Now, when you have your beautiful list, take a look at your journal or your notepad. So now you have a list of 10 values ranked from most important to least important, which is number 10. And now I want you to ask yourself the question, how are you doing in your life at the moment? Next to each value, how are you honoring that value? Is it really present? What score would you give yourself on a scale from 0 as not present at the moment to 10 of you're living in alignment with this value? So give yourself a score. It's a little self-assessment there. And that's how we grow, to self-assess, to go back and reflect on how well we're doing at the moment and where changes we can make or we might make. So once you have that score, anything I would say that's below, that you scored below a 7 is what you want to focus on right now. If you have a list of 10 values where every score is under 7, then just pick 1 or 2 right now. So there's no need to change it all around or have a lot of different actions that you want to take. Just pick 1 or 2. And next week you can maybe pick up another 1 or 2. So ask yourself, what action can I take in order to bring this value up to an 8 or a more satisfactory level? What can you put in place? What do you need to change in order for this value to be at an 8 or higher? Is there a goal you want to set around this? For example, if your value is power, but at the moment in your job or maybe at home you feel powerless, is that a goal that you want to set for yourself? To take more ownership, to take more responsibility? Or maybe it's just to face your fears. Maybe there's something, some big plan, some big vision that you have for your life that you keep on dreaming about, but you feel the fear and so it stays in a dream. And what's the goal? What's one step that you could take today that will take you a little bit closer to making that dream a reality for you? So once you have the goal, I want you to now to define or create a plan and then actualize it. Act on it. Do something. Take your first step today. The hardest part is always starting. So take that first step today and you'll be halfway there. So this was the little topic around values. I hope it was valuable to you. And I hope you have a clearer picture on what your values are. What are those values for you so you can live in alignment with your values? This will bring you more peace within your daily life and will help us to maintain balance within the modern madness. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Louise. If you have any questions that came out of this session, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to take this a step further and you want to work together with me, I have a couple of options, a couple of programs. Feel free to schedule your complimentary discovery call. I'll add a link here below so you have all the details. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.